escape it.
Get ready for combat. Get ready for combat. Yeah. The Combat Jack Radio Show. Stand up.
Hey, yo, internets. You know what this is. You're listening to the Combat Jack Show podcast. Combat Jack Show. What's up, A-King?
What's good, player? I'm good.
Man, these headphones sound so crisp right now. You know, shout out to our microphone sponsor, man,
Rhodes.
You know, they definitely, it's a Rode.
Rode, yes.
You know, black people always want to put an S on
Stop.
shit. I'm surprised you don't say New York's.
Nah.
My nigga, how you been, man?
I'm good, man. I've been good.
Yeah, we've been traveling, man.
It feels weird a little bit because we've been, in our apologies, internets, we took a well-needed 2 weeks off.
Yes.
You know, a lot going on.
Yes.
But we back at it.
Well, you know what, internets, I kind of owe y'all an apology, and I kind of don't owe you motherfuckers shit, because we've been fucking giving y'all consistent content for the past 7 years. I haven't had a vacation or even a semblance thereof in about 4 years. Y'all motherfuckers take vacations every fucking 6 months. We just did this fucking show, Mogul. I'm fucking exhausted.
Mogul.
The
Life and Death of Chris Lighty.
Life and Death of Chris Lighty. We'll get into that. So, you know, we went to L.A. We had an amazing show. You know, shout out to Mike Will Made It.
Yes.
Shout out to our sponsor, Acid. And what's the name of the coffee shop that we did it at?
Bar 9.
Bar 9, man.
Yes.
L.A., man, thanks for the love. And a lot of people loved that episode, man. And after that, I was like, I need a fucking break, man. So, it was my birthday this past weekend, man. I flew out to Vegas. And I just, you know, luxuriated. You know what I'm saying? And I feel ready. I'm back. So let's jump into this, man. First and foremost, thank you, internets, again, for the overwhelming support for Mogul, the Life and Death of Chris Lighty. It was kind of weird. We had 2 releases. The initial release was exclusive on Spotify, and the second one is on all platforms. It's out there, you know, and it's doing very well. We're at that number 2 spot. We're about to hit that number 1 spot. All internets, all I need from you is to ensure, if you fuck with us, if you fuck with the movement, if you fuck with Mogul, rate. If you haven't already done so, rate, subscribe, and comment, especially on Apple iTunes podcasts.
No more iTunes. It's just Apple Podcasts.
It's Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, you know, do that on Apple Podcasts, man. I want that number 1 spot so I can talk my shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we do it for the culture. We have some dates coming up. We got a New York date, a New York live, Combat Jack Show live date on July 27th.
Yeah.
You know, guests to be announced. You know what I'm saying? What else we got coming up?
At the Paper Box.
At the Paper Box in Brooklyn.
Go to Ticketfly or hit up our bios on our social media for the ticket link.
Definitely.
You know, it's what is it? $15 in advance, $20 at the door.
Yes.
So
come through, man. Support a nigga, man.
Level up.
Support a nigga, man. Shout out to all the podcasters out there, man. I see y'all. It's an interesting time, man. You know, and there's, you know, I was just talking to somebody earlier today, and they were like, "Yo, I want to come in the podcast game, but I feel it's too late." My niggas, my bitches, listen. It's still early in the game. Last year was when everybody came into this spot, but it's still just the beginning. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I love about this is now the major corporations are looking at what we've done over the past 7 years, and they're looking at this community of all you podcasters and all these shows out here, and they're like, how can we get in? You know what I'm saying? How can we capitalize on this black community and this black audience? Because they never thought there was a black audience
for podcasts.
For podcasts, you know, traditionally podcasts were created for like the nerdy white boy, you know, all of that, and no shots to them, but they still couldn't believe. You know, so one of my boys was pitching something for us the other day, and he was with all these rich white cats. He was pitching some shit with regard to podcasts.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, but black people don't, still, like 2 weeks ago, black people don't listen to podcasts. That's that ignorance, man. Like, I hate that shit, man. You know, there's so much money in this game. Not saying that I'm making all of it or even a fraction of it, but there's so much money in the game. I encourage y'all to come in, man. Like, I definitely enjoy the camaraderie. I love all podcasts, but when I see podcasts of color, man, shout outs to all y'all. Shout out to my boy, Eric Eddings and Brittany Luce, man. They just released a new podcast on Gimlet Media. It's called The Nod.
The Nod, yep.
And The Nod is it's so brilliant, man. It's just about the simple shit that we know, that we see every day in our culture, like how when a black man walks past a black man, and then one of the few in that scenario, they give each other the nod like they had in that Blackish episode. Yeah. And you know, and they both work at Gimlet, and they both been so supportive of me over at with the Mogul show. So I want to support them. Internets, it comes out this week.
Yep.
Support the nod. Let's get into this, man. I took a break and, really trying to, after this Mogul thing, man, I've been really trying to calibrate what my next direction should be. I think we've set the bar so high with regard to, interviewing, legendary legacy acts. We've been interviewing new acts, politicians, the whole nine. I kind of want to switch it up, and we'll talk about that internally. A King.
Yep.
Man, how's Mena doing, man?
Mena's good, man.
I know we received some bad news last week, man. Shout out to our boy, man.
Yeah.
Hold your head up. Taxstone, man.
Yeah.
A lot of cats are like, yo, why don't y'all want to talk about Taxstone? And it's a lot.
It's a sensitive thing
right now. It's a sensitive thing. Niggas, stop thinking that people could talk about everything.
You can't.
And I've refrained from that, but I just want y'all to know that does never mean that we don't support Tax and that we don't have love in our heart for Tax. And you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So Tax, hold your head, man. One of the brightest stars in podcasting. Saying he came in the game last year and he shook 2 years ago and shook this bitch up. I think it was Tupac of loudspeakers. You know what I'm saying?
He was Tupac, 50 Cent, all in one.
All in one, man. And
he put on a lot of cats too.
Put on a lot of cats, man. And just shout out to him, man. And don't y'all be talking out. I be getting these weird tweets. Yo, why you? Man, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is grown man business. All right.
Yep.
There you go. But getting back to what I was saying, man, I'm trying to realign, and we'll talk about that later. But one of the joys that I still have about doing the Combat Jack show is when I meet cats that I've been reading about for 10, 15, 20 years, cats that have shaped the landscape, cats that have, what I'm saying? Like, we're so New York, what I'm saying? And coming from New York, we had such a small perspective in terms of what the landscape was. But, seeing cats that really opened up my eyes to what this broader hip-hop thing was in different cities and in different regions, you know what I'm saying? And this brother right here, definitely a legend, has been in the game for how many years now?
Ooh, 91.
91. That
first drop something.
91. What is this? It's 2021. Well, no. 91. Hold on. Let me do the math. I'm not too smart. 2001, 2011,
7 years.
So that's 26 years. Yo, listen,
wow,
Internets. Without further ado, let's welcome this 26-year veteran from Chi-Town. Wait, before I even mention his name, Internets, I apologize, especially the cast from Chicago. Y'all have been some of our strongest supporters. And up until this point, we have not done a live show in Chicago. And I feel like a fucking jerk face for not doing that. And King, can we lock in Chicago for 2017,
gotta make it happen,
man? We gotta make that shit happen.
Let's go to the Windy City.
Every time I go to Chicago, it's nothing but love, man. Shout out to LEP. I don't know what's going on with them. Shout out to what's her name? Damn, No Name. Love that girl. No Name, just love her. Like so much talent.
Rap Gypsy.
So much talent.
No Name.
She's No Name right now. When I met her, she was No Name Gypsy. Malcolm London, you know what I'm saying? Like, so much talent out there. You know what I'm saying?
Tons.
Tons.
A lot of
My boy, shit. Oh, I got to look it up. Fuck, he welcomed us to Chicago and took us around. White boy, the author. I got to look up his name. And remind me before I forget, man. Because I cannot end the show without mentioning his name. But without further ado, man, one of Chicago's most consistent and brightest stars on the Combat Jack Show. Welcome to the Combat Jack Show, Mr. Twista.
What's up?
What's up, sir?
Combat Jack Show. Here I am.
Yes, sir. I still want to call you Tongue Twister, man.
Man, I don't care, man. I love it. I love it.
That's when you came out with that, huh?
Yeah, that's how I came out.
Yo,
Mr. Tongue Twister.
Congratulations on your 10th studio album, Crook County. I'm saying, like how I was listening to some of it today, man, and it sounds real, like you're digging deep, man. Like what's the concept of this? It seems to me as if you're trying to make sense as an OG in the game. You know what I'm saying? And you're looking at the landscape of hip hop, OG, the young cats, and how everything is going on in Chicago right now, the good and the bad. And to me, it sounds like you're really trying to figure this shit out through your art, man.
Yeah, like you right on page a little bit. What I was doing was, I'm always a fan of the music, the younger generation who comes up with their new things. And me being in the city of Chicago, I'm listening to different artists do their things, you know, like you was naming, like people like No Name, people like YP, people like Boy Illinois. These are people in the city. I'm
That's a
listening to
good
the
name,
music.
Boy Illinois.
Yeah, your Boy Illinois. He killing it in the game. Just got a deal with Profile. Right?
That's dope. That's dope.
Right. Yeah. One of them Priority.
I think we have priority.
One of them.
Yeah.
One of the P's. But he you know, like people like him, just different artists, man. I'm coming in the studio, you know, Sonny knows a lot of them. This my guy Sonny, he's recording a lot of them, and so I'm hearing it, and I just want to be a part of it,
right,
like I'm always wanting to do. And me like jumping on certain songs and just vibing with the artist started to bleed over into what I was doing, which was coming with my next project. So one of the subliminal meanings of the project for me is bridging the gap between the OGs and the veterans that do it with the younger generation that does it, and show that it's easy. You know, because you know a lot of the older cats will be like, they don't get it, or they don't vibe
that mumble
with it.
rapping. They ain't rapping.
Yeah, you know. So, you know, me being timeless with it, just wanted to come and show, man, they you know, it always is gonna start with the youth. You know, so instead of looking in it and seeing what's negative in it, you got to peep it and realize, wait a minute, they selling out shows. They got a bunch of people listening to their music, all of these streams, this and that. What is it about this particular artist that people are gravitating towards?
Right.
And you just listen to it and vibe with it, and I'm always able to catch it and just keep going with it. So, you know, my project is like bridging that gap between the OGs and the youngsters.
It's so important that we do that, man. Like, I was almost going to be one of those old heads. I was like, almost. You know, I was almost there. Like, I was almost there, like with Soulja Boy.
Yeah,
I didn't understand the Soulja Boy thing. Okay. And I was like, yeah. And then one day my sons, and they was in the living room with these white kids and Asian kids and Latino kids doing the Soulja Boy dance. And I was looking at them, and they was probably like 15 at the time, you know, my eldest one. Yeah. I was longer. Like, how long was Soulja Boy? Like 10 years ago?
Damn,
so he was like 10. My son was 10. Okay. So it was all my kids and their friends doing the Soulja Boy dance. It's like, I don't want to be that old nigga that takes away their joy. Like how old niggas used to tell us that this shit wasn't music.
Yeah. And that's really what helped me not go that route. You know, once you see that constant change, you like, okay, every time we do it, then we get older, then start to growl at the shorties like, that ain't music. And then these guys get older, then they growl at the next shorties like, that ain't music. You know, how many times it gotta happen for you to realize you just getting old? You gotta kind of stay with it, you know? And true enough, sometimes it might be changing for the better or for the worse culturally, but at the same time, it's still music. And when it comes to just jamming and knowing what's popping and what's hot and what's not, and being with what's in and what works, you know, you got to pay attention and know what's going on.
Yo, I'll never forget this conversation I had with my mentor, my legal mentor, Louise West, years ago.
Okay.
We were driving down, I think, Atlantic City.
Okay.
And Niggas for Life just dropped.
Bang.
And she was, you know, she's from an older generation, and she appreciated hip hop. So I was like, you gotta listen to this nigga Dre. The production on this is crazy. It's a little crazy, but and I remember playing Niggas for Life in the car with her. And you know, she knows music, but she's like, yo, do you know what this is gonna do to the culture? But I was so young then. I was like, yo, this shit is banging. It's banging. And even now when you listen to Niggas for Life, it's arguably a better album than Straight Outta Compton.
I do the same thing, man. I pull Niggas for Life out a few times every year, like, man, this shit is still killing everything. Like, the clarity, the quality, and just everything.
And then Eazy's voice, man. We used to clown Eazy in New York. I miss that boy, man. But at the same time, I question, you know, years later. You know what I'm saying? With the limit, like a lot of the subject. I don't want to sound like an old head, but like a lot of the subject matter that these cats have graded, even after NW, even my era in the 90s, when I played the 90s music for my kids, they're like, Dad, it's too much shooting. And I wonder if that was one of those points where, as much as it was great for the culture, it still took the culture to the next, in the opposite direction.
But I think it reflects what was going on in the inner cities, right?
Well, no. Straight Outta Compton, I think, reflected what was going on in the inner cities. Niggas for Life was niggas wilding out.
niggas gave niggas money. That's what gave niggas money and a studio and everything else to come along with it.
Yeah,
you know, so they was having fun. It still was very, very good music.
Yes,
you know, it still was good music. But you know, at a certain stage, you know, sometimes I just sit back at it and just look at it like, damn, you know, like you always question like, how long did it take for you to realize, okay, the music started out like experimental, you know, this hip hop thing and this rap thing. So it starts out experimental, then you get a bunch of this positive music, and this got the conscious mind a certain way, you
got
know,
you feeling so proud.
Way. Then, you know, you get some groups that start wilding and cursing a little bit. Then you see the effect of that,
right?
And then it's like, you know, that money is out there, man. People want that money, and you got these big companies. They got the choice to choose this music to keep everybody's mind state one way,
right?
Or no, we ain't messing with that. We gonna choose this music and this music to make the mind stay one way. So, you know, I definitely think music is a form of control, and one of the reasons that you have only the negative music at the forefront is because this is what they use to help keep us in a certain frame of mind.
I agree with that.
I mean?
And I remember this one guy from years ago, man. He was like some meta physicist or whatever. And he was like, yo, man, I'm not talking bad about the music, but when you hear like the frequency of the music right now, it's real low. It just it keeps your energy low. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, is there some shit to that? I mean, I got to investigate that. I'm not shitting on music, but still, these are the conversations we need to have, man.
Yeah.
Definitely we need to have. Before we jump to the next question, man, I do have to shout out my boy Lil B. Because Lil B,
what up, Lil B?
Yo, thank you, Bass God. Like, that nigga had a conversation with him like 6 years back, man. And he was like, yo, man, we at this crucial juncture where, you know, it's the rap conservatives, the rap Republicans, or the rap liberals. And then you got these old niggas just like, yeah, I heard that shit. I went it back to it. It was back in the day. And you got these young niggas that's just trying to live, man. And he was like, which one do you want to be? And it's like, I'm not being them conservative niggas, man.
Independent.
You know what I'm saying? Independent, Green Party, liberal, the whole nine. And all you niggas that's like sneak dissing me on social media because I support Young Thug, man, start your own shit. And get your own platform and talk about the shit that you like, because my taste is my personal taste. I know I've talked shit about Young Thug in the past, but I can't deny the nigga's music.
What people don't like about Young Thug?
I mean,
I be hearing people say stuff, but what is it? Like,
they never say what.
I guess it's his image. The nigga, I mean, you know what I'm saying? When the nigga was wearing
he's trolling when he does that.
I mean, who knows? I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. But like, you know, like niggas didn't used to dress crazy back in the day.
Yeah. You know, I guess
what up, Melly Mel?
Is what a person is into. Like, I'm into the rap aspect of it. So when he first came out, I heard the man switch like 3-4 flows on one track before, just like Drake did. I was like, okay, this dude can rap. And I always paid attention to his cadences and rhythms and how he makes a song and stuff like that. So that's most of the stuff I paid attention to with him. And that's always what made me a fan of him. I didn't really get too much into the other part of what was going on, what he was wearing, and all that type of stuff. Like, I just pay attention to his music.
Let me ask you something, man, because this is something that I can't answer, because I just like how it sounds. But you being such a technical dude, you being so proficient, I'm saying with the word with the art of rap, is what Thug is doing. Is that hard to do? Is that some next level shit?
I mean, you gotta listen to his music as a whole. Sometime, like you'll listen to it and you'll think something is simple. But have you ever heard a complex Young Thug verse or something that was on that level that you consider rap? And if you hear it, you'll realize that his creativity ranges. Like, if he wants to take it there and get you thinking, or like really come there with the flows, then he knows how to take it there. But then at other times, you know, the shorties be on that wave, they be on that vibe a lot. You know, they know how to go from lyrical and have you thinking to just wavy, how you vibe and how your emotion is. So a lot of times they just be on that wave.
Yeah. Tell us about K-Town, man. That's where you grew up, right? K-Town, Chicago. Tell us about that, man. And what's K stand for, man?
K-Town. A lot of the blocks start with the letter K.
Okay.
Costner, Karlov, Kildare, Keeler. You know what I mean? So it's K-Town.
Tell us about growing up in K-Town, because you really represent K-Town, man.
Yeah, it's just rough. You know, one of the hoods. You know, man. Even I remember too recently, maybe a year ago, something on the news or something, they was like, one of the blocks I grew up on was considered the roughest block in Chicago.
What?
Like, what? On the west side, right there on Costner? Like, you know, so that's
saying a lot.
that was crazy to me right there.
Right.
But yeah, it was rough, man. Like, we seen a lot of stuff. a little crazier now as far as the reasons the shorties are doing what they doing to each other. But back in my day, you know, you had a little more morals. It was a little values there, and people thought a little way, but they still was killing.
Yeah.
You know, you just couldn't see it as much as you can see it now.
Internet support for the Combat Jack Show comes from HBO's Insecure. Creator and star Issa Rae is back with a brand new season of her deeply relatable series about friends, love, and Los Angeles. Set in Inglewood, California, season 2 of Insecure finds Issa dealing with the repercussions of her infidelity and the fallout of her breakup with longtime boyfriend Lawrence. Incidentally, Internet's Combat Jack me, I'm Team Lawrence all the way. Despite her attempts to embrace her newfound singledom and maintain a positive facade, Issa secretly hopes she'll be able to win him back. Meanwhile, Lawrence, who's steady on the come up and slowly getting back on his feet, and while he's still conflicted about his feelings for Issa, begins to move forward without her. And Issa's best friend, Molly, faces her own set of uncharted waters as she reshifts to focus on herself, put men on the back burner, and seek help from a therapist. Not to mention, life at work gets messy for Molly when she's faced with wage inequality at the boys' club that is her law firm. This summer, I cannot wait, and no, you can't wait. Insecure is not holding back, and life is hella out there. Watch the premiere of Insecure Season 2 on July 23rd at 10:30 p.m. on HBO.
Man, I remember when I was in college, first time I met a nigga from Chicago. And we was in a good college. We went to Cornell University, but this nigga Raymond Webb was like Vice Lords. Vice Lords. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Because, you know, at that time, we didn't really have gangs in New York. We thought, you know, New York was grimy. We thought New York was rough. But when this nigga started talking about Vice Lords and gangs to the side, I was like, what? Like, that shit was scary, man.
Yeah, I remember like even coming here back in the days when it wasn't like that, you know, and I was like, damn, Chicago rough.
Right.
You know, we got gang banging like a mother, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was way more crazy back then. Like back then, we had problems with colors back then.
Right.
Like now, they don't even see that. But back then, you might get whooped or shot if you got your hat turned the wrong way, or if you got on black and gold in a gangster neighborhood because they wear certain colors, or you got, you know, vice versa. So it's crazy.
So if I was to do a tour of, what if I was to do a complete tour of Chicago today, man, I'm not wearing no hat. Because, you know what I'm saying, that shit is too
You
complicated.
straight today though. Like,
Just all black, like all black.
But they might get on dummy though. Like they, you know, wearing a hat the wrong way could cause a reason for somebody to get on bullshit with you. But you know, you cool though. Like they don't be taking it that deep.
That's crazy. Now you grew up, man, single family house, single parent household. How many siblings? And you were the oldest.
Yeah, but I had my 2 brothers and my sister.
How was it, man? Like, what were your dreams like growing up? You know, in the hood in K-Town.
Man, as a shorty, I was in the art a lot, but I was considered one of them different kids.
What kind of art?
Portrait art.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can sit here and draw you and shit. See how you chilling and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pencils? You was ill with the pencils?
Pencil or pen.
Oh, that's crazy.
I like to draw with like an ink pen.
Right.
You know, scribble it out. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I won some medals and shit like that. You know, I held it down in school for a while. I actually survived a long time off of drawing.
Really?
Like before I started working jobs, that was my little hustle. I would draw whatever was hot at the time.
And sell them?
Yeah.
How much would you sell them for? Like,
it'd be different, man. It'd be, you know, I would sell something for $30, $40. I would sell something for a few $100 sometimes.
What?
Yeah.
So at what point, because that was your first love.
Yeah.
It's crazy because my first love was drawing as well. Drawing and painting. And, you know, now I haven't touched a pen or a pencil in goddamn 20 years. And
You
people
gotta
like,
go back in. I'm telling
you still draw?
I dabble every once in a while.
Right.
One time I called Chief Keef. I saw a picture of him that, you know, you'll see a picture and it'll put you in that zone.
Right.
And it put me in that zone and I drew it out with a pen. And he saw it and she was like, damn, you got that picture. You know, like he saw it and it tripped him out that I actually drew it.
Yo, Twist. You got you. That's money right now. Because you're a famous dude. You say portraits, portraits. You know, by you know, put out a coffee table book. You know what I'm saying? You can have a yo. Come on, man.
Yeah. Man, I got it.
Yo, I'm telling you, that's you leaving money on the table right now,
I'm gonna
sir.
send you a nice gift if I pick it up. Come back, Jack, you got a nice rollie or something.
I need that green box, man. But so you wanted to be an artist when you were growing up, and you had good teachers in the whole nine, and
that artist and a barber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's the same
Cut
thing.
some hair pretty
It's the
good.
same thing.
Yeah, it's the same.
Same thing. So,
same shit.
So what was your first rap experience? When did you hear this shit? Because, we came up in an era where we remember vividly where there was no rap.
Yeah.
And then what was the first rap experience that you had and was like, oh, this is it?
I don't know, man. That first shit, probably sitting in the car, and the first thing I probably heard was "Don't push me."
Oh my
'cause
God.
I'm close to. Yeah, that was probably the first thing I heard.
The message.
So I'm listening to that. And I'm starting to hear. Who was I starting to hear? Curtis Blow. I'm starting to hear all of this stuff. I'm starting to hear Run DMC. So I didn't want to rap. It just had me excited at this point. So I'm hearing early Run DMC. I think when it started to sink in a little bit, and it was crazy. I don't know why this song, but it was fucking a Beastie Boys song.
Which one?
You know what I'm saying?
Slow and Low?
Yeah, with the whistle in it. Yo, Leroy.
Oh, Brass Monkey. No, not Brass Monkey. Yo, I'm gonna look that shit up right now. I'm gonna look that.
I'm not drunk.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So it was the Beastie Boys.
A fucking Beastie Boys song got me excited on some crazy level. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to everything though, a little bit of everything. I would hear some like what made me want to start rapping though, like actually get in it. The fucking Fat Boys made me want to rap.
Yo, listen, I'm so glad you said that because the Fat Boys
is what made me. I tell everybody,
Fat Boys was no fucking joke.
Man, the Fat Boys what made me
Their
want to rap.
first album,
yeah. Fuck
was
the name. Them dudes was cold.
Them dudes, and they had the ill
the beats was cold.
So the Beastie, like, get the fuck out. The Beastie Boys and the Fat Boys. That's amazing.
It's what made me actually want to be in it.
Right.
Like, man, I'm gonna do this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And when you started writing, man, like, what was your first name at the time?
Cavalier.
Cavalier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good.
It was my first name.
So how'd you go from Cavalier to Tongue Twister?
Because I wrote a verse called Mr. Tongue Twister.
Okay.
Yeah, and then people started referring to me as Tongue Twister.
Now, Cats wasn't rhyming that fast. We was more like the
yeah, no.
Walk into the place with my Adidas shoe. You know what I'm saying? It was like real basic. Like, how did you create?
My first rap line was, whenever I'm rapping, you better start clapping before I get mad and make the wrong thing happen.
Ooh.
That was my very first rap line right there. Yeah.
So how did you develop your flow to what you become famous for?
Because after just I was rapping and I was well educated when it came to raps, and then we had these stations in Chicago and shit that everybody else on the West Side didn't hear. It was like HPK and NUR. These was two college stations in Chicago. JP Chill, the DJ, in Chicago. So I'm hearing all of this shit that nobody else heard. So it educated me in rap, and I was like a little before my time. So I'm walking around battling, doing all this, eating motherfuckers up. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, I got a little not weary of it. To that point, my creativity was growing. So I wanted to do some different shit. So I'm like, okay, I got the metaphors and shit down pat. I got to do something else. So I really, really was into rhythm, the rhythm of shit. Then that's when I started changing the flow and making it sound funny and trying to come up with different styles and starting and stopping and chopping it up, So that's what kind of spawned the style, is wanting to elevate from just battle rhymes and saying words just straight out. I started wanting to get funky with it. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the lyrics that I kick. Rap slicker, I flow quicker, I'm like slicker, so get on, I love it. Right? You know what I'm saying? So I started wanting to do that. And one day, I remember somebody had
internet's just watching my man do that is fucking beautiful.
Somebody had a 6-pack one day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I want to keep flipping that phrase 6-pack. So I was like, I open a 6-pack, get bitch till it's pitch black, throw knuckles and click gas, get you with your bitch back for talking to chit chat. Phantom's anthem, I breathe anthems, you know what I'm saying? So I started coming with the styles with it a little bit, and it just got, more and more developed as I kept rapping.
Was it a matter, because, as an MC, particularly back in that generation, it was the blueprint was basic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had cats that were pushing the game forward, like Duke Booty and Melly Mel, and you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then you met Run DMC pushed the game forward, but at the same time, like, I can't understand, was it something of being courageous? Because most cats were afraid of stepping out that pocket, or was it just the art taking you to the next level?
It was the art, and then it was you know, I think with some people, they just get captivated by certain shit. You know what I mean? Like, we probably all like Magic on some level, but it's some little kid that saw Magic and it just took his soul, you know? So with me, I was one of those kids where when I heard this rap music, it just took my soul, you know? So I'm listening to all of these different artists, and then I started to get visuals of it, videos and shit, and then, you know, and then, like, before, I'm going to tell you when it raised a little bit, when I heard the show with motherfucking Dougie Fresh, that's when the cool went up some. Like, you was already cool on one, but the cool raised up a little bit
They
when I
changed
started
the
hearing
game with that,
Dougie
right?
Fresh and fucking Slick Rick. And then Lottie Dottie shit in the show. Yeah.
Yo.
So I'm like, no, see, I was doing my little beatboxing shit because of the Fat Boys, and I'm like, Dougie made me have to really take it in with the raps. I'm like, okay, no, Dougie Fresh rapping. I got to rap too, goddammit. You know what I mean? So it was just different artists would come out and change my view. Like, one of the most important ones was LL. He was the one that brought that lion out. Like,
Right.
when I saw him and how fierce and ferocious he was, and like, you know, Crush Groove, you got Run DMC, they cool, but then here go this young
Solo.
dude, you know what I mean? And he come out doing this thing, like, so just, it was like some fucking X-Man shit while I'm watching this, you know what I'm saying? So it was on another level to me.
Yo, we'll edit this. Yo, Shay, can you put the clock on so I can see the clock? Thank you. You know, we're talking about all these pioneer New York MCs and New York rappers that influence you, but one of the things I'm really, really curious about, man, is what was the rap scene in Chicago like at the time?
No rap really like that. Remember, we was talking about house music.
Yes, and we're going to get into that shit.
Yeah, this was the dominant theme.
Right.
Was house music, but rap started to come into Chicago, and you're gonna die when I say this. When you started to hear motherfucking Fast Eddie. Remember Fast Eddie?
Yes.
Yeah, and Sundance, the female.
Yes.
And then remember Fast Eddie came with the fucking James Brown house beat. Why am I the most wanted MC? Because other MCs want to be like me, but they can't.
So
Like,
house
copy,
music,
you know what I'm saying?
House music ushered in.
Like for a lot of it, yeah. Like for me, part of it was like me wanting to pay attention to rap. Was first it was just house music. Then I seen Fast Eddie come in the club one day. I was like, damn, he doing this rap thing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it just slowly came in. It was like a lot of it was the south side. So it was on the west side a little bit, but mostly like the south side of Chicago started to build up a strong rap following. And if you go in certain clubs, it was probably like a mini version of a New York club.
Right.
You know, so,
Right.
yeah.
So what gave you the fucking balls to say, you know what? There's not many of us out here. I'm going to carry this city on my shoulders. Because to me, that's kind of what you did.
Really, man, like once I started switching the style up and came with certain flows and things like this, now I'm going out, I'm doing talent shows, doing stuff, and killing them. You know what I mean? People started to pay attention. So, Loud Records.
Loud Records. Were you the first artist signed to Loud Records?
Yeah.
You were the first.
Yeah, that's why I was mad when Steve Rifkin did that whole interview and I ain't see my name. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yo, you hear that, King? He was the very first artist signed to Loud Records, man.
That's interesting because I always thought that
What,
it was
Alcoholics or something?
oh yeah, damn, I forgot about
them,
I was gonna say
didn't
Mobb Deep.
Nah, Mobb Deep was later on in the
Nah,
day.
that was way later.
Yeah.
Yo,
So it was you. Yeah.
They were
you-
just a promotion company.
Right.
You had Fade Dunaway. What's up, Fade? You know, that was my guy right there. He was like the A&R there. He was working the promotion at the time, and they were in the process of transforming from a promotion company
To a
record
record level.
company.
So that's when
and they started looking for artists.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that was working their promotion in Chicago brought the demo back from this dude named Twista because he happened to be friends with my manager at the time. So
Right.
he brought the demo back, and he heard some of the songs I had out there, like Mr. Tongue Twister, this song called Hocus Pocus. You know, when they was listening, he was vibing, and he heard
Remember
it
that.
was different. So then he talked to me on the phone, and I busted on the phone for him. Then they flew me out there.
Yo, so were you also in Unsigned Hype? Were you in Unsigned Hype?
No, this
Okay.
is way before that.
Because I remember Source had covered you a lot. So you're the first artist on.
Yeah, when I walked in Loud Records, the
Right.
first thing I saw on the wall was what they was promoting, and it was Tupac, Strictly for My Niggas, had just came out.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So let's step back a little bit, man. Let's talk about the importance, man. Because like I said, we come from the same era, and even though we come from different cities, man, let's talk about the importance and the influence of house music on our culture.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, man, I was, as much as hip hop was my heart, like a lot of my soul was house music, man. You know, big up to the Paradise Garage, you know, rest in peace, Larry Levan. But that was major.
Yeah, man.
And you don't even, it's like a footnote in
Yeah.
our history right now. And what used to get me so crazy is because I was like,
transformed, I guess, like into techno and all of that.
yeah,
EDM.
but I can't even say that.
Once it became worldwide,
It ain't
everybody-
even the same. But I just remember, man, just like, you know, just being so appreciative of house music and hip hop in New York, and then being like, oh, them Chicago niggas is doing it too. Not even knowing that y'all really originated that shit.
Yeah, the Chicago dudes, they originated. I remember being a shorty and, you know,
And going to the actual
downtown.
like garage parties and the joints like that.
Yeah, on Randolph and Randolph and Halsted.
Right.
That's where it went down, right
Yeah.
there on Randolph and Halsted.
So as this is happening, because like when I was coming up, I never thought that my life would be like my professional life would be directed or dictated by hip hop. I thought it might have been some house music, the whole nine. Like, did you know? Like, did you ever think that you were gonna be a house artist or a hip hop artist? Or because there was no separation in a sense.
Yeah, I'm telling you what happened in Chicago when Fast Eddie came out. It was, you had house,
Yeah.
and you had hip hop.
Hip
Fast Eddie termed hip house,
house.
and it became like the combination of the two.
Yes.
You know, and me being like dead center is probably like why my rap style is the way it is. Like, because I can just rap Adrenaline Rush right over a house beat. You know what I mean? So all of that kind of meshed together, and just, I think that's what kind of ushered in the rap in Chicago. Was
Right.
like people.
That's
like
crazy, man.
Fast
Shout
Eddie.
out to House, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marshall Jefferson. Shout out to all the classic house music records, man, that really shaped my life and shaped my worldview to this point, man.
Man.
You know? So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, man, is did you originate the speed rap?
I don't think I originated it. Like, people argue about it. I
Right.
think different people in different regions was trying something new as rap was evolving. You know, we all hearing each other and everybody started trying new things. And I think once you started to flip that style a little bit, it was so sacred to you. You swore the fuck down that you were the only person
Yes.
doing this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that Tretch had no idea that Bone was doing it, and I had no idea that this person, you know what I mean? And you got Jay-Z and
Jazzo and
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I remember all of these artists coming out, and I remember dabbling and doing my thing. And it actually is what pushed me to go hard, was
Right.
because I felt like, damn, people coming out stealing my style. Not directly from me, but just I felt like they was taking my shit.
Right.
So
And you
that's-
get nervous because this is the shit that you're expert at.
Yeah, that's where Mr. Tongue Twister came from.
Right.
I'm like, okay, fuck, then I'm gonna just rip the whole song like this the whole way, and then just from that point, I was like taking it to the next level.
But when you hear a Jazzo or Jazz and Jay-Z do a record like they're saying they originated the shit. How do you feel when it's not them just doing it, but they're saying we are the originators, and that's a crazy record too, man. Like,
Yeah.
how's that make you feel, man?
I was loving that record.
Right.
You know, at that time, they were so early with it though. Like when I was doing it, like I think that might have been the first record I heard with somebody else doing what.
But
I was doing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like when I heard it out, the first thing I thought was, "Damn, somebody else was doing it." Then I'm studying it, seeing how good they are compared to where I'm at, things like that. So, you know, I didn't really feel heat from it. Like I didn't feel heat until it started being like certain other artists. You know, we start dissing each other and everybody started coming out. You know, but that's when I started feeling the heat on that level. Like it's mine, it's fucking mine. You know, but then too many people started coming out like
The
roaches and shit. It was like,
Fushnikins and everybody was trying to
man, I remember being. Let me tell you what was that fucking thing? I'm gonna tell you what was the thing they had on the West Coast way back in the days. It was something like South by Southwest, but it might have been called. I can't remember.
See, I never made it to the conferences out west. I used to go to the ones down
Some
south.
Galveston type
The
shit.
Gavin
Gavin or something.
Gavin.
Like,
It was Gavin.
something like that.
Was
but I
Gavin.
think it was in. This one might have been in San Francisco and shit.
Oakland or some shit like Gavin.
Yeah.
Gavin, right.
And this is the first time I ever saw Redman.
Oh shit!
Like, yeah, he wasn't out yet. Like,
Right.
he was letting people hear his shit.
Still had
I
the
was
snot
like,
rag in his nose and shit.
man, motherfucking Chip Fu came walking through the door. Now this, you know, by the time I heard Fu Schnickers and shit, this nigga scared the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? By the time I heard Chip, I was terrified. So I'm like, damn, he came walking through that motherfucker. I'm sitting there and shit. So he came, he chilling. Later on, like, we had seen each other a few times. Man, later on, we ended up kicking it at the club, vibing with each other, telling each other what was going through each other's head when we saw each other. And we started talking about styles and, you know, fucking.
What was going on through his head, man?
Same shit. Like, damn, they go to nigga Twista. You know what I'm saying? So we both, like, respectfully peeping each other through the joint and shit. To this day, we never got to work with each other, but we always talk about it, though.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's
now,
my homie.
Now, you know, coming out of New York, man, I remember we used to just be assholes, man. Like straight up and down. From New York, we didn't fuck with anything outside of New
Y'all
York.
like shit.
Like, so when you first come, and you get a record deal in New York, man. Like, was New York, were they disrespectful to you, or were they embracing you, or was it both?
A little bit of both,
Right.
probably more disrespect.
Like, tell us about the first time you did a show here, and niggas was like, he ain't from New York.
That it was a joke. You know, some people pay respects out of just them being good people, but for the most part, Chicago, you ain't. It was a joke.
I mean, we used to shit on Jersey.
Yeah, it was just it was a
Staten
big-ass
Island,
joke.
Staten Island. Y'all niggas rap. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying?
It was a joke. I
Right.
was always telling them, man, it's dope motherfuckers in Chicago. It's dope motherfuckers. But the one thing that always made me last throughout all of it was when you told me to spit or something. Like, once it came time to let it loose, motherfuckers saw it wasn't no joke. Like, whoa, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my funnest moments was in Cleveland and shit. Mobb Deep was at this show. Biggie was at this show.
Damn.
I'm in the hallway chilling and shit, and see Big L in the hallway. And you know, he a rap nigga, you know what I'm saying? So he see me, like, man, what's up? You know, he talked to me in the rapping, you know, he finessed me the way he talked, you know what I'm saying, in the rapping. But I was so geeked at the time, I didn't want him to know how geeked I was
Right.
to rap for him and everything. So he busting shit, but I think I fucked his head up when I came with the little flow I came up with. But he definitely showed that, like, damn, once he seen how I was rapping. But like, Big L was the person that first taught me how to dress on the road when I went on tour. Because we didn't have too much of shit, you know. So he told me how to preserve my clothes, what to wear, what days, and how he finessed
Get the fuck out of here.
So that's how I learned
Some
how
Harlem niggas, man.
Yeah, that's how I know how to finesse my shit. Yeah. He showed me how to preserve my gear and shit and stay fly and shit the first time I was on tour.
Yo, who else embraced you? Like, out of like the cats that was established or the cats that was getting established? Who?
Drez from Black Sheep.
That's dope. Drez is a good dude, man.
Before I like came fully, I think maybe I had dropped Mr. Tongue Twist at the time, but when things had kind of died down, he kind of heard some stuff I was doing underground with the crew, and him and his buddy actually flew to Chicago and got with us, and he flew just to come out there and do a song with me and just get into the vibes.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
you know,
much love to my homie Drez, man.
I know you've answered this question 70 fucking million times, man, but how did you end up in the Guinness Book of World Records, man?
Because of Fade. Remember, I told you
Fade Dunaway.
Yeah, Fade worked at the label. It was either Fade or M's. I don't want to say, you know, who, because they might argue, man, M's might be like, it was me, man. But Fade or M's from Loud came to me and said that it was a record in the Guinness Book for the fastest rapper held by Daddy Freddie at the time.
Daddy Freddie, was he from like a
Reggae artist.
reggae artist? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like 520 something syllables or whatever.
A minute,
so,
right?
Yeah, in a minute. So I practiced it a little bit and shit. And
So you aimed to beat that shit.
yeah.
You trained for that shit.
Yeah, like I practiced. I got to like 600, but I knew I could go more because I thought somebody would actually break it.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to stop at 600.
600
So,
600 syllables per minute?
In a minute, yeah. So it turned out to
Nigga,
be
how does that
598.
sound like?
Just like some fashion. Stepping up, breaking up, stepping up, breaking up, breaking up, it just sound like
Who's
that.
like? How the fuck do you count that shit?
They slowed it down. They had a speech therapist slow it down to actually count every syllable, and the shit came out to 598.
How are you counting that shit? How are you counting that though?
Do you have like an
Stop clock, you know what I'm saying? And then start rapping, and then when they get to a minute, see where I'm at.
So would you slow the shit down too and count it?
No, I didn't know how they were gonna
Right.
count it. Or
So you
do
just
it.
shot your shot.
I just shot my shot in a minute.
And you made 500 and what?
598.
598.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
So the record is up there now. One, you know, the shorties got it now. Like it's probably like it's at the max. I knew you really couldn't get past 680 somewhere in that range, 608, like close to 700.
Right.
That's when it started turning into some other shit, like scientifically. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that I probably
just probably sound like
up,
bees. It just sound like
I knew I could get up to about 650, 660 or something like that. You know, but I stopped at 600, and I thought somebody was gonna come back, and nobody came back after 9 years, 10 years. I'm like,
when did they break the record?
It was like it was over 10 years later. Well over 10 years later.
Yeah. How'd you feel when they broke the record, man?
I didn't care about it.
Yeah, at that point, it was like,
I was doing my thing. I think, shit, Slow Jams probably was out by then. I don't know.
Yo, but it was a gift and a curse, right? Because it got you worldwide recognition. Mm-hmm. That's when you first came across my radar. You know, you got worldwide recognition. Yeah. What were some of the opportunities that came to you because of that? Did you start traveling?
News channels and stations that I normally wouldn't be on, like that other thing. You know, that other thing that if you're a singing group or something, or the Temptations of this group, and you want to go to the fucking Copa or the next level, you know what I'm saying? I was doing next level shit just because I broke the record.
Right.
So doing that, I was able to
be in
tell them about whatever, you know, everything else I'm doing besides just this rap. So, and then it also gave me like education, like how to get out there for when I really did start to get on and promote music.
So like media training and shit, in a sense.
Yeah, like media training.
But did it open up like shows or like money opportunities for you as well?
Well, as far as like me being like I said, me being signed to Loud Records and having that opportunity to promote myself and my music on different platforms that I wouldn't have been able to do so had I not broke the record.
Right.
So I was just getting on different shit, you know.
But also it was a curse too, because
I couldn't make no slow song.
Motherfuckers want to put you in that box.
Yeah, that was the worst one. Boy, I remember being super depressed. Boy, I would make a slow song, boy. Man, we don't want to hear that shit.
Wait, who's telling you this?
Just that was the normal vibe, you know. Like it might be one person on the street, or it might be a writer. It might be the crowd if I'm trying to do something slow.
Nah, man, you rapping too slow.
Yeah, you know, it's like, man, they want to see you do what the fuck you do.
Right.
So when I was trying to switch it up and do a little bit of something else, no, they wasn't having it.
How did you overcome that?
Just, I started to know what I was and I embraced it. I'm like, why am I trying to get away from something that's the shit?
Right.
You know, like, and I started to realize, like, don't let the hate make you not like yourself or what you do. You know, just stay true to yourself and let them gravitate towards you, you know. And that's what started to happen. Everybody just started to gravitate towards it and bite it. And, you know, like, you know, that was the way to keep yourself hot. I could kick off so many motherfucking beefs as people come out and shit, you know what I'm saying? But that just wasn't my vibe. I knew that we had pioneered a sound, and I'd just be proud when I hear certain shit come out. Like, instead of me hating, saying, that came from me, my mind state is like, I'm going to end up rapping with that person. They going to keep me in the game.
Right, exactly.
You know, I'd be like, yeah, y'all keep me in the game. Everybody that like that style, if you give me any type of props and shit, I'll let your boy keep the OG in the game. You dig?
Yo, what do you get? What do you get when you win a fucking Guinness Book of World? What do you get? A book? A golden book? Like, what the fuck do you get?
Yeah, I fucking forgot. You know, but some like
they just send you like a certificate.
Yeah, like a certificate and shit. You know,
where is that? You still? I hope you still got that.
Man, I don't know. I think I gave it to my mother.
Okay, I hope she got it framed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yo, please, dude. That's a once in a lifetime thing, my dude.
Yeah, I probably gotta get a new one for myself.
You get a new one, man. Yeah, exactly, man. Your second album, from what I understand, it was released only in Chicago?
Which one?
Resurrection.
Yeah. That was when we went independent, you know.
Okay, so you went independent.
One of the first independent type of joint.
So it wasn't on Atlantic?
No.
Okay. No. And you decided to sell it within the state?
Yeah, this was the next album that I dropped after the record that I dropped on Loud Records.
Right.
So this was like fucking 92 or 3 or something like that, 94.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought it was like, I thought you were signed to Atlantic, and for some reason they sold it.
This was later.
Okay.
Yeah. Atlantic came after the Resurrection.
Right.
Atlantic came when I made Po Pimp.
That's a great record.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do or Die.
Yeah.
That's a great record, man.
Yeah, that's my song right there. One of my favorite songs.
That's a great record, man. How did you feel though, man, about all these cats? You mentioned Tretch and Bone Thugs. Like, how do you feel? Like, here you are minding your fucking business, trying to make records. You know what I'm saying? Trying to put the city on the map. And these niggas is coming after you, man. And dissing you. Like, I'm just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
And it's Tretch. You was a fan of Tretch.
Man, first I ain't believe. Now, see, he didn't know. Nobody knew this. Like, you know, I'm in my shit, so I'm like a fan. Go to a show, maybe this club called a China Club in Chicago, and the motherfucking House of Pain came to the show.
Okay.
And I had already met Everlast before House of Pain.
Right.
Because he was driving up to talk to Steve Rifkin at Loud. I would see him in the office sometime and shit, and he would come up there and chill out. So I met him right before he got on House of Pain, and he remembered me. And so he said, man, let me holler at you for a minute. He said, you didn't hear it from me, but Tretch dissed you on his album.
Which one?
I couldn't believe it. I was like,
which album?
Damn, man, I can't remember which album. The rap line was, I put a few blows in cargo so you could tongue twist your ass back to Chicago.
Oh, my God.
That was the rap line
Right.
So I'm sick. This pissed me off. But, you know, later on we met, we got cool and all that shit. But had he not did that, you wouldn't have the Twista today.
Right. What would that Twista be
I'm going to
today?
tell you what happened. Him doing that, it might have been a couple of more artists threw a couple of jabs, but I was getting dissed.
Right.
The city that I was trying to be like wouldn't accept me to the fullest. You know what I mean? Like I remember, hey, we gonna give you 4 mics, then I got 3 mics. Then it was a bunch of little shit that kept happening. And one day, I'm in Chicago, I'm rapping, I'm doing my thing, and I'm noticing that everybody else rapping, they starting to get a little good, and they got people vibing with them. So I'm starting to see, wasn't it too much rap? So now I'm starting to see what rap looks like when Chicago artists are doing it and making regular Chicago people like it. Mm-hmm. I never had that image.
Right.
So now,
because you was like a pioneer.
Yeah, but I'm rapping like a New York version of a rapper almost. So they're liking me for the fascination of being able to rap, but they liking the people around them for the shit they was talking about.
Right.
So it was a different vibe. Then Tretch dissed me, and then all these people dissing me, and I remember looking at my homies, man, fuck New York, fuck, you know,
yes.
No,
yes, my nigga, yes, fuck New York.
The East Coast. My problem is I keep rapping for them motherfuckers. I'm from Chicago, so from this day forth, I'm not rapping for no motherfucker outside of Chicago. I'm spitting my verses for the niggas that's on my block and on my corner.
That's dope.
That's where Adrenaline Rush came from.
That's dope, man.
That's what that mentality is. That created the Adrenaline Rush version of Twista. Is me saying fuck everything else. I'm rapping straight for Chicago.
That's dope, man. I appreciate that, because I think at the end of the day, that's what New York eventually really appreciated. It was like, don't copy us, because we got the best of what we do. But then when niggas start doing
shit, New York loved me when I became myself.
That's hot, man.
Then it was, it was a whole different vibe. So.
But what I love is when you came back at Tretch with that Suicide record. Oh, you purposely copied his flow, right, on that record, because it sounded like you was fucking with him. With his flow.
Nah, what it was with Suicide, this was in my time frame of not wanting to be just defined with fast flow. Because had it not, I would have been dissing them with like a fast flow. But I wanted people to know that I could just rap.
Right.
So that's where Suicide, that's really where the Resurrection album, that's where that album came from. Is too many people had pigeonholed me, so I'm like, man, I want to switch it up a little bit. So that's when I was like, some suckers like that. Then I started hearing Nas and all these different shits. You know what I'm saying? I heard Nas. I was like, shit. I went in the crib. Some suckers are stabbing tackle. Others are grabbing shackle. Scream like a jackal from flows to crackle. Kids in my tabernacle. My mack'll be squeezing. I started writing that type of shit. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, that's when Suicide came.
But that goes to, creating so much talent that you are at any given point able to pivot and switch to your other tools and your other weapons, man.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, one of the most legendary things that you did outside of hip hop or outside of rapping was that legendary XXL cover, The Greatest Day. Yeah. When y'all had over 200 rappers and people from the hip hop on that cover, man. Tell us about that, man. And how did you feel when XXL called you to do that shit, man?
It was the shit. Like, I was proud to be a part of that. Like, that was, for me, that was a defining hip hop moment. That was a sense of satisfaction. You know what I mean? That was like, But the funny motherfucking part about that day, remember, I had made Suicide.
Yes.
So,
and you're in New York.
Where was the shoot?
In Harlem.
You know what I'm saying? So that suicide shit had got serious. Some other guys from Chicago had started dissing him. So yeah, we had like a fucking meeting in Chicago before Naughty by Nature moved around and shit. Like that shit was serious.
Like these niggas get a no-fly zone?
Damn, they're like some no-fly zone type shit.
Really?
Pretty much. Yeah, it got serious. You know, so
You was gangster like that, my dude?
it was, you wasn't finna diss Twista and the whole, like, even now, like you ain't, you know, but I ain't that type of person.
Of course.
But if you come at me a certain way, you got a whole city at your ass.
That's dope.
Just like that.
That's dope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the vibe back then. But boy, the funniest shit in the world, we standing our little ass there in New York in the middle of all them rappers. Trash Cane walking through that motherfucker. We said, oh shit.
There he go.
There you go, man. He
Was y'all about to set it? Was y'all gonna set it or what?
No, I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Right.
He walked up and he laughed. He said, see, niggas? He said, I was out there the first time. He said, see, now y'all in my motherfucking hood, man. We laughed with it. He said, see, it's all love, man. And we was like, okay, shit. We was like, yeah, but he had us, man. He had us, Church.
Yo, that's dope, man. That's dope, man. Yo, what's your relationship with Kanye, man? Because Kanye, you know, has definitely, you know, in terms of like this new wave, and we could go into, you know, Chance and the whole nine, but like, what's your relationship with Kanye and how he represented the city, man?
Man, he killed it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he killed it. You know, he brought a new sound. He put a lot of people on. Like, you know, he put Chicago on the map in a new light.
Yes.
You know, so he did a lot of things. It's a lot of different ways you can explain it, but definitely he came in with that wave and killed it.
Were you aware of him coming up in Chicago? Like,
Yeah. Like, a lot of the guys that was coming up on the scene, we all seen each other. You know, I had been at his house and shit, listened to beats.
a word?
Yeah.
When he was a beat maker.
Yeah, my guy Tumchi, who used to be in my rap crew, used to take me to his house sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
How was it working with him, man?
Real cool, man. Real cool. Like, I always respected him on that level. Like, once I started hearing fucking the truth that he did for Beanie, and like just from that point on,
Early
like
on.
I'm listening. And then I heard his music back then, so I got a chance to kind of have a vibe on it. But once he started doing certain shit, like I knew it was like the beginning stages of a cold motherfucker, like a genius almost. So I just wanted to be a part of that vibe. And when we started working on slow jams and things like that, I was looking at it through a certain eye and light, and I wanted to do the best I could because I felt like this stuff was gonna be something else.
Yeah, you must have felt honored and proud. You know what I'm saying? Honored that Kanye, you know, has you on the song, and proud that this the next generation. It's my little guy right here. Not saying that that's your little guy,
Yeah,
but
that's how I was. Like you coming up, like my whole thing was having that longevity and that respect to the point that certain artists will come out of Chicago and want to get me on their music.
Right.
You know, they felt some sense of whatever it was, you know, whatever the feeling it was in a way where they felt like I gotta get Twista on my shit. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I got so much love for like Cap One.
Cap One, god
As soon
damn.
as Cap got his deal, I'm gonna get Twista on some shit.
I forgot about Cap
You know
One.
what I mean?
I
So-
did his deal. We did. We used to we used to represent Cap One. That's crazy, man.
He got it. So you should remember.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Back then, I got on that joint with him and Shauna.
Yeah. How's it working with Diddy, man?
That was the shit. You know,
Like, how'd you get involved with?
It was scary.
That was an amazing album, and I was just listening to the record because I hadn't listened to that album. And Is This the End? Is a fucking great record, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's my shit, man. I'll be listening to it every once in a while. Like, damn.
I did that. You ever look back, man, and be like, I did that?
That shit, man, that's that dude, man. That dude know how to bring the fucking best out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like Diddy, like it's some other type of crazy talent he got. Like,
Tell us about that,
It's
man.
like Mayweather. He reminds me of Mayweather.
Okay.
You'll get camouflaged by all of the lights and glitter and won't see the raw talent right there.
Right.
You'll think it's some other shit. But man, that man got an amazing ear. You know, and the way he can construct and conduct things to come together. So when I went out there, it's like what fucked me up was he knew I smoked, and so you know I hadn't really had no flame, no super next level. He gave me some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Gave you that gasolina.
I'm trying to think of what the fuck was it. Some shit, man. He gave me some gas though, man. You know, so he gave me that because that's what I like, and you know I was smoking that and writing, and his first words was make this shit a movie. He was like, I want to see a movie. And he gave me his description of what a hit was. He started describing to me how Biggie would make songs,
Right.
what he would tell Biggie when he would make songs, and just, you know, gave me a little insight of a hit and what to do and how to write this song. And then he left out the room.
Yeah.
And let me do my thing. And
Now-
I sat there and,
Now, did you have the coach Diddy on that record too? Because he's rhyming fast on that record.
yeah, definitely. Like my
You-
rap style and
right.
writing it and everything and getting it together. He wanted to really get in it. And like, man, he snapped though. Like,
But how fresh? Because Diddy was not a natural rapper.
nah, but you know, a lot of people weren't like a Eazy-E and
Right.
you know.
Yes.
Like people always say that. I'd be like, man, it wasn't like the first rap group. Wasn't they shit wrote for them too?
Yep.
Like,
Sugar Hill Gang. Yep.
So rap started with people writing for
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but definitely I give him credit for how skillful he was for getting the verses and being able to lay them. Because at that time I wasn't as skillful in dumbing down, so to speak,
Right.
my cadence or rhythm.
And he wanted
so
you to
that
rhyme
somebody
slow,
could-
right? He was like, nigga, rhyme slow.
Yeah, he wanted me to come a little down some more, but I don't know what he did, but he got them shits together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did that record do for you, man?
Man, it made people here know me. Like a lot of people, even though I had did all of this music, hadn't heard of me until Is This the End? So that's, you know, that was a big thing for me, that record got me what I wanted. Like,
Right.
Because I wanted to walk up and down the streets in New York and people be like, oh, they go Twista.
Oh, there you go, right
Yeah,
there. Like
so after Is This the End? That's when
you got the New York love, man.
That's when it would happen, man.
Man, shout outs to
Yeah.
Puff, man. What did Slow Jams do for you? Because that was a big record. Is that your
Huge.
biggest record?
Yeah, Slow Jams was the biggest one. If you look at it in that light,
Right.
Slow Jams was the biggest one. You know, yeah, that came out. That got me. Shit, that got me on the whole tour with Jay. Goddamn it,
Yeah.
Is That Your Bitch?
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So, yeah, that record was the shit. And he was actually the first person to see that record was a hit.
Jay.
Jay knew. He just heard them. He was like, yeah, that's the hit right there. Woo, y'all need to come out with that together. Woo, woo, woo. He just said that shit at a rehearsal like it wasn't nothing. And that's what happened. He spoke, and so it became.
Yeah, how'd you get on that tour with Jay? This was
Which tour was it?
it was that big tour. It's crazy. Like the one where they made like over 100 million or some shit like that.
Yeah, I forget the name of the tour, but
How'd you end up on that tour, man?
because of the record I did
with
Is
the
That
Puff.
Your Bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, well, tell us about how you did that record and why we never hear that version, man. And that's such a disrespectful record, B.
Man,
Allegedly,
let me
allegedly,
let me
that
say
was
this.
the,
Let me say something.
the Nas, Jay.
No. It wasn't. No, it wasn't. Had nothing to do with Nas, and I don't want to get into it because I allegedly know the parties involved. But people,
Oh, right,
people
right,
think
right.
Super Ugly is the most disrespectful record Jay ever rapped on.
That one.
Is That Your Bitch? Is That Your Chick? Is the most
The verse.
disrespectful Jay-Z record. How did you become a part of it? And how come that's not on the general release?
I think just on the business aspect of it, me
Right.
being on Atlantic at the time, I think certain elements within the business aspect had them only be able to release it on a certain
Right.
version.
Yeah.
You know, they only could release it a certain way. And then Bleak was on the
Right.
main version.
Right.
You know? So yeah.
How'd you feel when you heard Bleak on it as opposed to you, man?
I mean, you know, Bleak is dope. I
Right.
even had him on my project,
Yeah.
but I was pissed off that my verse wasn't on there. You know, of course, you know, I actually remember that beat before. I actually rapped on that beat prior to that. You know, that's
That
a
beat
whole
sounds
nother
like it's
story.
tailored for you when you really think about it, though.
That's a whole. Timbaland had did that beat, and I did a little demo thing to it before. But by the time once Jay got it, then I was like, oh shit, I got a snap. You know, so I was turning it up on it.
How was your relationship with Jay and Dame back then? How was that, man? How was it being on that tour, man? It's at the height.
It was cool, man. I was high as hell, man. I'm getting a chance to vibe with these guys. That's why I smoke backwoods today. Fucking with Freeway and Bleak with them damn backwoods. You know, because I was smoking the Phillies.
Right.
You know, so they the ones that got me smoking backwoods to this day. And I learned a lot.
Right.
You know, it was
From everybody, or what'd you learn from Dame? Who I think is one of the most brilliant minds, one of the most difficult people to work with, but one of the most brilliant minds that's ever been in this
yeah,
game.
an aggressive mind state. You got different people. Some people work well with an aggressive coach.
Right.
Some people don't.
Yeah.
I'm one of the players that work well with an aggressive coach.
That's dope. I
Yeah.
don't. Like
Yeah, I know some
Yeah.
people got a little too much alpha in them and they just can't do that shit.
Yeah.
You know, but me, like, just the type of drive I like to bring out of myself, I like that whip cracking vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Did Dame ever? Did he ever bark on you?
No,
Okay.
I didn't need that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just the way he talked. It's
Right.
just, it got you. It gave you that mojo and that ego about yourself. Like when I did Champions.
Mm-hmm.
The reason my verse sounds the way it is on Champions is just strictly off looking at Dane walk through the studio talking shit
Oh,
about
that's
that
crazy.
song. Him and Beans was standing there talking about that fucking song, and he was just saying a few things, and that shit got into me, and I just got that ego vibe on there, and it was my turn to bust, and I went in and did that shit.
That's crazy. What'd you learn from Jay, man?
Man, that's the coolest person I know, man. Like the coolest person to get the biggest effect. You know, I remember standing backstage and he was performing during the tour, and Bleak was tripping off of how he was like, look at him, just fucking standing there, barely moving his hands. Look how he controlling the crowd as if he out there as if he Buster or something, going crazy, and he just standing there barely moving, and he just know how to finesse the crowd, you know. So it's just like he just got so much control and so much awareness of himself and surroundings and what's what. It's like, so I think the one thing I learned from him is like, he got that Johnny Cochran never let him see you sweat vibe in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, never.
I like that. You
Never.
know, I like that. Yeah.
Never, man. What'd you think of the new album, the Jay-Z album?
Dope. Like I remember not listening to it. Like I do this a lot. Watch people's reaction to a project and just vibe off their reaction. Then I'll go listen to
Right.
it. And that's what I did. And I was wondering, like, a lot of people was talking about how dope it was. So I was
Which we
okay.
hadn't heard in a long time.
Yeah, I
Everybody's
didn't know,
been
like,
always
what
shitting
the
on-
fuck did he do that's
Yeah.
making people think that it was so dope? So when I heard it, I was like, oh shit. You know, like one of the most important things to me was one producer, one
No
rapper.
ID.
You know what
and
I
that's why I
mean?
asked you that too, because it's Chicago.
Yeah, one producer, one rapper. But
We haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, you know, the first thing I thought about was fucking Gangstar or
Right.
some shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Primo and Guru, man.
Yeah. It made me think like that, and then listening to the element of the music and knowing that Kanye and No ID is kind of from the same elements. You know, he actually gave, you know, Kanye will give No ID a lot of credit for
Right.
helping him.
Well, that's his mentor.
Yeah. So
Right.
to hear the samples and shit that No ID put together and how he put those beats together was like, oh, no fucking wonder. It's like he got a masterpiece musical here, and then he put his genius shit on there with the way he did it. Like, it was real dope to me to see somebody block out almost whatever music was going on
Right.
and take the music that they do and put it at the forefront. Like, here, this shit still is, you know, y'all can't touch this. You know what I mean? I don't care what kind of music is winning, what's trending, what's hot. It's like,
This is classic.
Jay is Jay, and this is what the fuck
This
I
is
do.
classic.
Listen to these 10 pieces right here.
Yeah.
know
I just
what I
remember
mean?
the first time listening to it, man. I was like, yo, happy for Jay, but I was actually more happy for No ID, man, because, you know, No ID is
Yeah.
a legend in the game, and he's from Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was
Jay
like,
snapped on that motherfucker.
No. I'm not
It
taking
it could
anything
not
away from
have
Jay.
been. I think No ID is, yeah, I'm like what you saying.
Yeah.
I definitely think No ID is half of the reason
Right.
to why that shit is what it is, if not more. You know what I mean? That he went off on that motherfucker.
So how does it feel, man, in 2017? You remember coming out, man, and you was like one of the lone wolves coming out of the shot. You know what I'm saying? And niggas like, shot Chicago, whatever. And just having a really, you know, you talking about, you know, trying to impress other states and fuck New York, right? How's it feel in 2017 with such a resurgence of like the quality of music from Chicago? Like we got No ID, a chance to rap, but like his momentum right now is crazy. How's it feel, man, looking at your city and being like, yo, we like niggas can't talk shit about us
Yeah.
forever anymore.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's those are the conversations in the car. You know, proud. Just like, you know, me and my buddies, we saw the era from the beginning. Like I remember the rappers in the city for their fucking life could not make a dope song that sounded quality that had the same quality all around as something from the industry or somewhere else.
Right.
I was like, man, when you hear Chicago music, it's just not on it, you know. And so I'm sitting here watching the growth and development of these guys get to that level. So when I look at it now, it's like, wow, it's a big wow factor. And one of the things I used to say before technology got to where it is like, hey, why Chicago not on? Why Chicago? I mean, like, man, everybody else is on the coast. You know, shit, all the money coming in.
But let me interrupt you for a second. Chicago, like people forget, man, Chicago is the originator of so much black music.
Yeah, but
like
see,
the blues,
right,
jazz,
other genres,
house music,
other genres.
Right.
But when you talk about rap music,
New York.
you're talking about these pro-black niggas that don't know how to get to the label. They don't
Right.
have a means to get to the label.
Yeah.
So I used to say, on the East Coast, you know, you could take the train to the label.
Yeah.
We got to take a plane to the label.
Exactly.
That's on a whole nother level. So we in the middle of the map, and we can't get to all of these people, you know, down south or the East Coast or the West Coast where all of the money is at and the record labels and everything. So we can't get to them. And it showed through technology. Then one day, these kids could push a button in their room and let you see what they are.
Yeah.
And one day, Chief Keef pushed that motherfucking button.
Yeah, man.
And that was over.
How's he doing, man? Because you're an OG to Chief Keef, man. Like a mentor to
he
Chief.
cool. Like,
he's good.
He cool.
That's
He
dope, man.
I wouldn't say a mentor or nothing,
Right.
but he definitely is to me still, he is like one of the forefront guys that's doing his thing as far as the sound. Like I see a lot of sounds right now that are just like it derives from what Keith Chief was
Right.
doing. Like once he did his thing, then people would try to deny it, but everybody bit off of it.
Yeah,
They
man.
took his style and he basically cloned everything. Like you remember one day Lil Wayne became like the hottest shit, and then everybody turned into Lil Wayne.
Exactly.
One day Chief Keef became the shit, and everybody turned into
yeah,
Chief Keef.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I love about that movement, though, and we were mentioning this off air, is for some reason, man, I'm fascinated. Like, I don't really like female MCs. Like, I mean, you got to be so phenomenal, but something about the women that rhyme from Chicago, like No Name.
Because they hard.
And then
man.
Sasha, like, I don't know
hard.
why I'm a fan of Sasha Go Hard, because she hasn't done anything in a minute, but like, I just love how they look and they spit this.
Because they be hard. You know, I think one thing we
Katie
do
got
respect,
bands and
one thing we respect as rappers is a hard bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I be like, damn, why people don't remember Boss? Don't you remember Boss?
Boss, yeah.
Yeah, like one of the hardest bitches ever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like that. You know, we respect them motherfuckers that can go. That like a female MC that can
And
go.
y'all,
She hard.
yeah, because you know we don't have that many in New York. I mean, we got. I'm saying we seen the resurgence of Remy Ma and you know Nicki, you know, but it's something.
See, Remy Ma's like a Chicago motherfucker.
I can see that,
you
man.
know what I mean?
I can see that, man.
Yeah.
Now, I definitely respect the women MCs out of Chicago, and you know what, man? For some reason, like I feel good seeing Chicago reclaim
good,
us. You know what I'm saying?
man.
I feel
I'm glad
good.
you
You know what I'm
said
saying? I feel good, man, because
And
I
appreciate
was
you
one of them
saying that.
assholes that was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it feels good, like in a sense, being humbled. You know what I'm saying? Like where y'all are right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm real proud. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, a couple of questions, man. A couple of last questions, and we got to wrap up, man. You know, you still live in Chicago. Chicago's crazy, man. From the outside looking in, man, you've never left the city. Talk about that.
It's one of them is just how I carry myself.
Right.
You know, some people, you got different intellects. You know, some people carry their self and their personality in a way where they have to have a gun or they have to have some guys.
I don't understand that shit.
You know, and then some people. Everybody got ways to finesse. Some people finesse pussy. Some people finesse money. Some people finesse people. You know, different levels. But I've always been a cool dude that just moves a certain way and just get respect from people.
Right.
And I give respect. I treat people how I want to be treated and just don't really be in that type of vibe. Like I can go through Chicago and when people see me, it's Twista, and they probably will have more. Like if I walk on somebody's block. You might have some dudes that'll walk on the block and get shot the fuck up as soon as you see them.
Right.
If I walk on somebody's block, they probably gonna want to roll up with me and take me in their house and smoke and take pictures and we kick it and they gonna protect me and shit.
That's dope, man.
You know
That
what I'm
must be
saying? So
a
it's
great
just
feeling,
different
man.
vibe, you know?
But with so much Chicago pride, man, how do you feel about just the shit with us killing each other, man?
It's the youngins, man. It's the young ones.
What is it, man? What is it? Is it because what is it, man?
It's a lot of different reasons, but one of them is social media. You know, the kids, you know, they can sit in their house now and talk shit about each other and say things threatening enough to make them want to hurt each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? You used to couldn't do that. You had to come outside and hear it from the homie or
Right.
what such and such said who about me, or you used to have to after Friday. you might go through the weekend without the killings because you had to hear the person that talked shit at school.
So at school, right?
So now it's like.
So damn, social media is one of the reasons.
I think that's one of the biggest things.
Right.
I think
I never heard that, man.
Yeah, it created egos.
Right.
Like we come from the era where if a person got a compliment, it was from school or the friend or the block or something. So imagine when you give a no talented person a platform and you get a bunch of people liking, loving, oh, you the shit, and you telling telling this bum ass no talented person that they the shit, and here you start giving regular people who can't do shit a sense of ego like they a star,
right,
or talented person. You know what I'm saying? So you got a bunch of regular.
It's like giving a coward a gun.
Yeah, you imagine everybody walking around feeling like they Tom Cruise or Kanye or
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just chaos. Everybody think they the shit.
But why Chicago specifically?
That's because we hot right now.
Yeah.
The city that, even though it's true, Chicago statistically is worse than a lot of cities. I'm pretty sure if you look at the statistics of killings, you'll start seeing like, damn, okay, Chicago might be a little higher, but damn, look at Baltimore. Damn, look at that. Mm-hmm. Damn, look at, you know what I'm saying? Right. So you'll see it in a lot of places, and I think a lot of it is like, man, where that music follows, man, that
energy,
that energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like whoever be hot in the game, that's where it's at. For some reason, and it's like Chicago is in that limelight, so everybody's looking at Chicago. I remember when Biggie was the hottest. You couldn't tell. We from Chicago. We swear down Brooklyn, the hardest motherfucking place in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because he was hot,
of course.
Same thing we felt about Compton when Snoop was hot.
Yes.
Same thing we felt about Texas when Scarface was hot. You know what I mean? You had Chief Keef come out and he got everybody seeing Chicago roughed in the mouth.
Yeah, I just hate, man, hearing this president talking about sending National Guards and all that bullshit.
Man, it's
into
crazy.
The city, man.
That's crazy, man.
That's crazy. Like he trying to declare war on all the black people in Chicago. Get the fuck out of here.
It's like
I hate this fucking dude.
It's like, say, and I hate to use mice as or something. I'm gonna use mice for a minute. Now, boom, you got some mice right here. Then you take away the food. Then you see that they all start killing each other and shit. So what do? Do you bring in gates and shit to hurt them to stop them from killing? You feed them, right? You know what I mean? So we don't need National Guard. We need money.
Yeah, money, and we need services, man.
Money, services.
Yeah.
Man, we need just places in the hood.
Resources for kids. Kids gotta want to do something,
man. When them YMCAs and shit and off the street clubs and shit like that.
More studios and all of that, man.
Yeah.
Last question, sir. And you've been an amazing guest, man. Your top 5 MCs.
I can't. And I'll give you.
No.
No, it was funny. I'll give you 5 today, but that shit always.
That's okay. Man. That's all right. That's what we do. My shit changes all the time.
Yeah,
because it changes.
Because when you a fucking hip hop head, a rap head,
and it's hard. It's hard when we've been in the game this long. Because one of the things I do hate asking a lot of us is like, who's your top 5, and it don't go past 90. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
what you mean it don't go past 90?
It's KRS is Kane, it's Rakim. You know what I'm saying?
But they ain't gonna lie though. A
lot of them is in my list.
They in the list, but the reason you hear them is because those are like the fucking elders.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Those are the Michelangelos.
The Da Vinci's. So you could just start switching it up just to be doing it and making it fun.
Okay, so stop deflecting, man. Who's your top 5?
My top 5 is the elders.
Right now, give me them right now.
It's the elders, man.
Give me them right now, Twista.
Rakim,
yes.
Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane. I could just I'm putting LL in there.
Yes.
Fuck everybody. LL is in there. And shit, I don't know, KRS-One.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Twista, man, thank you for coming on the Combat Jack Show. Internets, Crook County, his 10th studio album is out in stores right now, man. This is a changing point in hip-hop, man, where a lot of you know what I'm saying, it's a generational, kind of like this generational war, and niggas from my era was like, we don't fuck with y'all, and y'all was like, we don't fuck. But listen, man, the game has changed, man. We be seeing, this is the first time in hip-hop history where we've been able to, this is like we're maturing. We've been in the game now 40, 45 years. So we're starting to see right now what we see in rock and roll. So shout outs to A Tribe Called Quest for showing that motherfuckers could be in the game 20, 30 years and still dropping phenomenal records. Shout out to the Jay-Z's and the Raekwons and, of course, the Twistas, man. Let's get, like Jay-Z said, I'm not on the Hove's dick, but you know what I'm saying? Like he said, this family feud shit is silly, man, because the white boys support they shit till niggas is toothless in a wheelchair, and we got to do the same shit or we're going to be stuck. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, Twista, man, congratulations on your...
man, listen to David Banner, too, man.
Oh, Dave Banner.
What is it? Godbox?
Godbox.
Yeah.
Dave's been here. Dave's is definitely a friend of the show.
Wow.
Godbox is crazy.
I feel like once you decide to give the 444 props, you got to give the Godbox props.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Don't even do one and not the other one, because they both are enlightening.
Twista, one thing I got to say to you, man. Thank you.
Man,
thank you, man. Like, thank you for, like, being one of those cats that really opened up my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Beyond, the 5 boroughs and then just the longevity.
Man,
and I really appreciate you, man. And whenever you in New York, I don't give a fuck if you selling nothing or not. If you just want to come on the show, be a guest host the whole nine, you're always welcome, my dude.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
There's some other shit, for y'all that don't. This ain't even, it's a show because you made it a show, but what it is a decent-ass conversation with a cool-ass dude.
I appreciate that, my man.
That's what it is. That's why this shit is popping. That's why Combat Jack shit is popping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
King.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yo, let's go to Windy City, man.
We got to go to Chicago.
Shout out to Hustle Simmons. We supposed to do something. Let's do something.
If y'all come to the Windy City, y'all gonna have a ball.
No, you know what? We're going. What are we doing in September?
Nothing
what are we doing
yet.
in August?
There's some things lurking.
Let's go to Chicago. I'm putting this out in the universe. Let's go to Chi-Town.
Chi-Tizzy.
In September. Can we make that happen?
Let's do it.
Twista, you gonna be out? Yo, come on, man. Let's
working and stuff. But
please,
if we
coordinate.
Just coordinate
definitely.
A little bit. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna make sure this who y'all gonna.
Sonny, you got us, man.
Sonny gonna have y'all in tune with all the artists.
Yo, Sonny, how old are you, man?
Whatever artist you name.
Oh, okay. So you one of the young cats.
Yeah. Whatever artist you name in the city, Sonny gonna put you in tune.
No, definitely appreciate that, man. Internets, you know what this is. I haven't done this in a long time, but here we go.
In a minute.
Dream those dreams, and then man up, woman up, and live those dreams. Because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in technicolor and surround sound. Blow. Fuck with that mogul. Combat Jack Show live coming to you soon. We out. Internets. Once again, thanks again to HBO's Insecure for supporting this week's episode of the Combat Jack Show. Creator and star Issa Rae is back with a brand new season of her deeply relatable series, Insecure. Set in Englewood, season 2 of Insecure finds Issa dealing with the fallout of her infidelity and resulting breakup with her longtime boyfriend, Lawrence. Let's go, Lawrence. Despite her attempts to maintain a positive facade, Issa secretly hopes she can win him back. Meanwhile, Lawrence begins to move forward without her because life is tough. This summer, Insecure is not holding back, and life is hella out there. Watch the season 2 premiere of Insecure on July 23rd at 10:30 p.m. on HBO. Team Lawrence, let's go!